sorry. These things.
Chris Fedor, Cleveland.com. Hey, Donovan. What do you take away from this one?
Offensive rebounds. Sorry. Offensive rebounds. I think, we played well enough, especially defensively. We played well enough to win that game. And when you give a team 17 offensive rebounds, you put yourself in a bad position off rip. They had 100 points. It was 50 to 47 or whatever in the middle of the third quarter. We were guarding. I mean, both teams were, but when you give teams second chances, Josh Hart had 10 of them by himself. They have guys that continue to crash the boards, and especially at timely moments. So he's got to clean that up, watch the film, and we'll be better.
How do you describe that feeling when you guard for nearly 24 seconds, you feel like you're executing the way that you are, and then all of a sudden the ball bounces off the rim and goes to the Knicks again?
Yeah, it's a deflating feeling, but in the same token, there's no room for that emotion. All right? Okay, we gave up 17, but how do we correct it? How do we move on from there? That's what the playoffs are. I can't sit here and say oh man, yeah, I can sit here and tell you, yeah, it's deflating. It sucks, and you feel like you're putting more effort in, but there's no time to kind of whoa, and be oh man, you know what I mean? So that's the biggest thing. And we're going to make mistakes. It's going to happen. We're going to give up offensive rebounds. We just got to limit them, and then also rotate and scramble. We gave up 3 in one possession. We give up 10 in the fourth quarter. Just timely ones, and if anything, foul. I told the guys, I think it was Ricky who had a foul on Hartenstein in the first quarter. Those are the fouls we want. Be aggressive. Take. At the end of the day, we'll take those fouls, and I think that's just the biggest thing. And guys starting to learn what level of physicality the playoffs are. At the end of the day, we missed some good ones, but we'll be good.
Danny Cunningham, ESPN Cleveland. Donovan, how do you think this group responded to moving up to level of physicality versus the regular season?
I think just look at this game alone. I think to start to finish, we understood what it took, different levels, and there's things we can clean up and be better at. At the end of the day, I think, this was. Sucks to lose the first game at home and lose home court, but I think there's a lot of teaching moments in this for us to go out there and fix in the film and get ready for game 2, not hanging our heads and stuff that we can fix. We can control all these different things. And we played pretty solid, defensively, and in order, like I said, to win this game. But we'll be better. We'll fix it. We'll watch the film. We got 2 days to get right, and we got to protect home court.
Ashley Vastak, Cleveland.com. Donovan, wanted to ask about the play where you jumped over the scorer's table in the second quarter. Number 1, were you okay with that? Number 2, what did you see on that play? What was going through your mind?
It's a bad shot. I shouldn't have even been in that position. I think I should have attacked the rim first and foremost. And then on top of that, just doing whatever is necessary to keep the play alive. I was joking, I appreciate the people that moved out the way. I jumped at them intentionally, and they moved, but, it's all love. I'd probably do the same thing. But, just trying, like I said, I took a bad shot and just try to make up for it, and that's the biggest thing. If I don't take that bad shot, I'm not in that position, so I put that on myself, and especially going in transition, getting into the rim and whatnot. But, it's the playoffs. You got to do what's necessary. Every possession matters.
Injuries from
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Just a scar. I tried to shower with. That hurts, but I'm good.
And then just, I guess, towards the end of the game, did you feel like the momentum that you felt the need to kind of take over on the offensive end, the way things were going? It seemed like you got into that flow later as the game went on.
Yeah, just starting to realize, picking your spots. And that's what I've been doing my whole career, and just finding a way to impact the game. And I think for me, I think they're trying to set that tone. And at the end of the day, that's what my job is, whether tonight scoring and trying to get guys open looks, draw the double, whatever it entails. And there are some shots that I wish I could have back, make better plays. But at the end of the day, that's my job, and that's what I'm supposed to do.
Nate Aldercat from Beacon Journal. Donovan, when you make a play like the one Ashley just asked you about, when you're sacrificing yourself, jumping out of bounds and into the stands, what kind of example do you hope to set? You can say everything with all your words, but what kind of example do you hope to set for your teammates when it comes to what playoff basketball really requires?
Yeah, this is what it takes. I think that's the only message. Understanding that, like you said, you can talk about it at the end of the day, but sometimes you just got to be about it. In many different facets, whether it's diving on the floor, getting a loose ball, diving in the crowd, just doing whatever's necessary, because there's no tomorrow. We're only promised at a minimum 3 more games after this. So like us, it's like, all right, like whatever, every possession matters, every second. And like I said, I took a bad shot and I had to make up for it. If we give up an offense rebound, we got to make up for it and get a stop. Like, no matter how deflating it may be, no matter what, we turn the ball over, we better get back on defense. Different things that, all right, if we screw up, then what? Like, there's no like, oh man, like we messed up. And I think, we did a pretty solid job at it. We can be better for sure. But for me, just trying to set that tone for sure.
From a leadership standpoint, what can you do between now and Tuesday night to make sure, your guys, especially some of the younger ones, the stage is new to them, make sure their heads are right?
Yeah, not to stress. Like I said, Evan Mobley's a hell of a player, and he didn't really have his touch tonight around the rim. Darius had a pretty solid night, but he can play better too. I can play better. Karras, everybody down the line. It's not just like, oh, Donovan's here, and it's like, all right, you guys, we can do this. We all could do different things, offensively, defensively, we blown coverages, and it starts with myself. I hold myself accountable in front of these guys. It's like, look, like I'm not exempt from anything, and there's so many different things you can learn from this, and like I said, we'll be good. We got it out. I don't want to say we got it out versus I want to use that, but like I think it was one of those things where we understand what it takes. And credit to the Knicks for coming in there beating us in the first game. We got 2 days to watch the film and get right, and we got guys that'll respond. I love the guys in this locker room. I love our fight. I love our effort, and for me, I hold myself accountable as well and get ready for Tuesday.
Kelsey Rose, The Athletic, going back to the offensive rebounding, you guys had talked about throughout the week how it was on the scouting report and something that you guys had to pay attention to. Did you see them do anything differently that led to more of that?
Yeah, it's just like you're there, but more. I look at the one I had against Josh Hart. Like, yeah, I turned around and boxed him out, and he still got it. There's more to do. Like, there's no room for, oh man, like he got this one. No, like that's not the mindset. So kind of coming out there with that mindset. Like we were in positions at times to box guys out, but there's more. There's more physicality. There's more intensity that can be had. And so that's pretty much what I think we'll see on the film. Like I said, there's times where I look at guys and we're getting hits or we're turning around, making the effort, but there's just another effort to be made. There's something else that we can do, and I think the one more effort in that way, I think, will help us in game 2.
And I know we've talked a ton about experience and how important this is, and JP was talking about how just tonight was important for that. How do you help the guys get that message across too, of this is part of that experience of seeing what the playoffs is like?
Yeah, first off, this isn't like the end of the world. I think there's more of you guys around. There's more noise. There's more talk. It's more people are watching. So, like, you can lose one game at home and it can feel like the end of the world if you allow it to. So understanding that, they came in there and took one from us. We got to go get one right back. There's no room to sit here and, feel sorry or feel like upset and get down. It's one game. We will respond. I know us as a group, as a collective, and understanding that, look, we'll be fine. Like, you can't play perfect your first, playoff game for a lot of these guys. And, like I said, I've been in the playoffs every year and I didn't play perfect. There's so many different things we can take away from this game as a group. And I think, obviously tonight didn't go the way we wanted to, but we'll be ready for game 2.
Bailey Burmeister, 19 News. JV said that he was looking for a spark off the bench. He didn't necessarily get that tonight. How do you, as a leader, go about inspiring that spark onto the bench for those players coming up in game 2?
There's so many different things you can look at. I think Jetty Osman played, very well in his minutes. Like I said, we missed some easy shots. We missed some simple rotations. And I think as a whole, like, just understanding that it's okay. Like, you know what I mean? And not, like, there's things we can correct, but like I said, it's one game. We'll be back for game 2, and just that's kind of just the message I've had for everybody. Like, it's okay. It's not something to hang our head about that we gave up our home court. We just got to do our job, be ready for game 2. And that's just the message I have. And the spark will be there. We'll be ready. I think, we, like I said, we have the group that's ready for it, and tonight wasn't our night as far as shooting and different things. And for us, we'll respond.
Joe G. Kazakam, Donovan. Evan struggled from the floor,
Mm-hmm.
and Jay, I think, had 4 shot attempts through the first 3 quarters. How important is it to establish your big guys for game 2 and then moving forward?
Big time, especially when they're trying to trap myself and Darius. We tried to use it in the third quarter a bunch, but they did a good job of stepping up and trying to take away Evan and then also take away the lob. So, different, like I said, we'll watch the film, and I don't have every answer on top of my head right now, but that's what, good thing we got 2 days. Kind of look back and get it going, and figure it out. Those are two very key, important guys to our offense and our defense and to our team's success, and finding ways to get them going, getting some easy ones. And like I said, at the end of the day, Ev missed some easy ones that he makes. And, I think he knows that, and, it's sometimes the ball doesn't go in the hoop, and understanding that that's a big part too. But we'll also continue to go out there and make sure these guys continue to be involved in the game, whether it's through hitting them off the double or hitting them on lobs. I missed J.A. on a lob to start the fourth quarter, and we talked about that. So understanding that, there's stuff that we can do as guards and other guys to get them involved as well. And like I said, we'll look at the film and we'll be better.
Donovan, Mark Schwab, 19 News. Some of the bench guys, but also some of the starters, just a lot of guys have problems getting shots go down. Is it just one of those nights, or did you feel guys were pressing at some point?
No, we got good looks. Isaac Okoro is the first guy that comes to my mind. His first few threes were great looks. He just didn't make them. You look at Karras went 0 for 3. Karras has been shooting the ball really well up until the end of the season. So I don't think guys are worried about that. The ball will go in the hole, but just continue to take those shots. That's the biggest thing, and especially in the playoffs. If you stop taking them, that's when you're a little concerned. I don't think we have guys that'll turn those shots down. They're going to continue to be those same open looks. That we see how they're going to play us, and just get your reps in these 2 days and be ready for game 2.
Wow.
Hey Donovan, Wiley Jahari, Spectrum News. You kind of have been answering this question, but I'm going to ask, since you've been saying it feels like the end of the world and it sucks to lose game 1 at home, but is it mentally challenging at all, and how do you navigate that with your teammates? Your experience, so how do you
if you allow it to, but I don't think we have guys that allow it to. I think we have guys that are very mature for being young guys. I think there's an understanding that, we as a whole can play better, and I think that's the biggest takeaway from this game. Now, if we played perfect and we played really good basketball and then lost, then yeah, maybe that's a different answer. But we have a lot of things that we can control outside of just making shots. Outside of that, alone, we have so many different things that we can, do defensively, rebounding, turnovers, whatever it means, not letting a guy get middle. And then on top of that, Josh Hart makes a tough 3 at the end, and we're right there. So there's things that we can definitely control as a group, and I think that's the message, and I think that's why guys are continuously, I think guys will come into game 2 ready, understanding that that's what it takes. There's a lot of stuff that we can fix, and we'll be ready.
Last one, Daryl. Daryl Wright, 92 defend. Donovan, you only lost by 4, and when you look at a lot of the intangible stats, from bench scoring to fast break points, second chance opportunity on that just emphasize how tight playoff basketball is. Just those, if you could get those flipped Tuesday night, the story's much different.
100%. I can tell you right now, if I don't come down and shoot that bad shot in the first quarter, and then I don't come down and shoot the air ball the next play, that's 2 possessions right there that we get back, and that's just off of my offense. If I don't come down and try to draw a foul on Josh Hart and throw it off the backboard, that's another possession right there. There's a possession where I had to step back and it got blocked. It's a bad shot. Those are 4 possessions right there that I can tell you that are just my own faults. So I think understanding that what playoff basketball is, it's a possession game, especially against a team like this. Every possession counts and matters. And like I said, we'll go back, look at the film, and be better. That's all you can ask for. I think, lost by 4, there's definitely a lot of things we can do better. And like I said, sometimes the shots don't fall offensively, but our defense is one thing that we have our staple on, and we played really good defense, and we just dug ourselves a hole with the offensive rebound. So watch the film, take these 2 days, get ready for game 2, and be ready for Tuesday.
Okay,
Appreciate it.